Hello, and welcome to Lit by Moonlight, where it's not a phase to get engaged for the sake of your country.
This week, we're talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Shadow and Bone, Season 2. In this episode, Conglomerate, a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
And I think I just want to raise that from the top of the episode, Caitlin, is like,
yeah,
a lot of things happen, to the point where I was writing the summary for this, I was like, when does the summary end? Like, how do I summarize all of this?
How do they pack in so much in 2 episodes? And also,
good
what's
question.
going on?
Also a good question.
Yeah.
I'll try to explain it to you now.
Okay.
So let's start with what's happening in the Shadow and Bone universe. So Alina and Mal and her new friends set off to Ravka in Sturmhand's airship, and after a run-in with the Baghra in the fold, the airship crashes and the group is confronted by Ravkan soldiers. It's here that Sturmhand is in fact revealed to be Nikolai Lantsov, who is the second son of the Ravkan king. Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Whoa! I mean, if you've never read the book, you didn't see it coming. I wouldn't have seen. Like, I think when in the books, it's like a huge shock.
Oh, so. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like a fact. I don't know why I stated that, but yeah. If you're watching this again after reading the books, you're probably just like,
yeah, keep going.
The group travels to the Grisha sanctuary, where Alina is reunited with Nadia and ZOYA. The Darkling learns of Alina's location, causing David and Genya to try to escape and warn her. David finds his way to the palace, where Alina, who does not trust him, orders him to be put in a holding cell. Genya is captured during the escape and mutilated by the Darkling. So,
Yikes.
Alina agrees to marry Nikolai in an effort to unite Ravka, while loving Mal in secret, as all good
relationships go. Yeah.
Love squares work, you know? It really is a love square at the end of the day. Like, there's like 3 men involved. That's what makes it unique from other young adult books. 3 men instead of 2. Mal tells Nikolai of a sword that might be able to kill the Darkling's creatures. Tolya, Tamar, and ZOYA decide to head to Ketterdam to track it down. At Nikolai and Alina's engagement party, chaos erupts when Vasily, Nikolai's brother and the other son of the king, the oldest son, threatens to expose Alina's relationship with Mal. However, before he can do so, the Darklings ZOYA appear and rip Vasily apart. Owned! As Alina and the rest of the group hastily evacuate the party venue, Alina runs into the Darkling, who proposes that they allied together. She refuses, and the Darkling orders her friends to be killed. That's a lot. That's just in the Shadow and Bone universe.
That's
Caitlin,
just
what's going on in the Six of Crows?
That's just one half of the story. But meanwhile, with our crows, we got Jesper and Wylan breaking into Applebrook, posing as repairmen, where Jesper repairs a piano for the Rollinses, and Wylan plays it, and it's really, really cute and wonderful. Kaz tells Inej that Pekka has killed his brother and that Mogans is hunting her, the assassin from the last episode. She fights and kills him because she's mother.
Mother!
Yeah. Knife wife.
Knife wife.
Nina goes to see Matthias at Hellgate, where she catches the eye of Pekka, who threatens to hurt Matthias if she does not bring Kaz to him. Nina does bring Kaz to Pekka, but with no intention of betraying Kaz. Kaz then reveals to Pekka upon being brought to him by Nina that he has captured Pekka's son, Albi. In exchange for Albi's whereabouts, Kaz forces Pekka to sign a quitclaim deed for Inej and a confession for the murders of Tanta Helene and Constable Sam. Also, Inej and Kaz are fighting now. So, why I can't remember, but they are.
Same?
There's a lot that happens.
Did you end up rewatching the episodes this morning?
I did, but I'm not gonna lie, I only rewatched the crows parts.
That's fair. That's valid. Do you feel like you have a better understanding of why Kaz and Inej are fighting?
I know they're...
No comment.
No, like, I know they're arguing because, like, he's keeping a lot of information from all of them, and he keeps telling Inej, like, you need to leave, like, promise me that you'll leave, and she's like, you need to leave! No, yeah! And she's like, no, like, thanks, but no thanks, you know? And, right. But, like, not telling her why, and then he asked, like, said, like, promise me you'll be there, like, when I confront Pekka, like, it'll bring some comfort to him, and she's like, I got you, and then while they're spreading the fake, disease everywhere, she's instead stays behind and saves some indentures. And so she isn't with Kaz, and he was pissed about that. And she was like, sorry. And I think they're okay, but like, if I remember correctly, he's still a little mad about that. So,
Well, mad about that.
you know, they'll get over it.
So, Caitlin, who are you? Oh my God. Okay, so who are you?
I'm Caitlin, I think. Unless I've been lying this entire time. And I felt the warmth of the sun for the first time since September yesterday. Good times were had. It was 66 degrees outside. I'm happy about it. And that's not
amazing.
Ignoring the fact that it is now 30 degrees today, but at least we got one day, baby.
One day. That's progress.
Yeah.
That's a move forward, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are you?
My name is Umberlin, and I am spiritually Baghra in the cage in these few episodes.
Yeah.
The way they're just keeping her in there, like that first shot of her like in the cage, I laughed. Like, this is probably insensitive to Baghra, but I laughed so hard.
She's just chilling. She's like looking out their window. She's like, when your son puts you in a cage.
What the heck? What the heck?
So, Umberlin, did you have a hook for these two episodes?
For me, it was when David sees Genya again and he hugs her to protect her from speaking out of turn in front of the Darkling. Yeah. I am really, if I'm excited about anything this season, it's their relationship, because
agreed,
they're like one of my favorite ships from the books, and I just love them together. So to see them together was really awesome.
To see them.
just to see them, period. Yeah. So that was mine. How about you?
Anytime that Jesper and Wylan are on screen together, I'm like head in my hands, kicking my feet, and I'm blushing, and I'm like hee 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 hee. Like, it's them. Because I love their characters so much in the books, but there's just something about seeing them together on screen where I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love them. And they're just I'm talking more about them later in like one of my peaks, but they just make me happy, and there's a lot of screen time for them in these two episodes. So I'm just, the entire time I'm like hee hee hee.
Literally, they fed us. I feel like these two episodes, I just had like a burst of serotonin because we really got to see a lot of them together, and all of their scenes were like Chef's beautiful.
Kiss. I think some of the best.
Very good. Yes, very delicious. Did you have any favorite quotes from this set of episodes, Caitlin?
I have a few. The first one is when Kaz was talking about taking down Pekka, and he says, you don't take down a lion by cutting off its tail. And Jesper goes, I'm sorry, you've been on a safari when? It was just really funny. And it reminded me of like lines in Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, where it's like, it's a serious moment, but this is a little sprinkle of humor in there. And that's what that felt like. There's something about the way that Albie Rollin says, yeah, I did that. And like when he says that he cut the piano cord. And like the way that the woman in charge of it was just like, how dare you? And he's like, yeah, I did. I hate the piano.
I fucking hate the piano. It's disgusting.
And then just Wylan going, that's really good. When he's like pounding on the keys. It reminded me of She's Really Good from Camp Rock.
Yeah.
So real. I laughed really hard at that. In the Kaz and Inej scene, when he's like helping with her wound, like they're talking about weaknesses, and she asks what his weakness is, and he says the limp, the cane. No one's smart enough to look for the real one. And I was like, help me. And the way they look at each other before Nina is like, excuse me, what's going on here? Between Jesper and Wylan, when Wylan looks at Jesper and he goes, Jesper Fahey, are you worried about me? I'm just like, hello? And just the way he gets up into his face, I was like, let's go. Like, I don't know, just it's because they're both clear, like at this point, like they're both so into each other, but they're not saying anything, but like not addressing the fact that they both really like each other, but they're both just flirting endlessly with each other. And it's
flirting.
It's great. It's so great.
And they have such great chemistry together too.
They really do. Like I really feel like the casting of this show is so strong within like not just like people who can embody their characters well, but people who just play off of each other well. And I feel like I've been watching a lot of the cast interviews lately, and they just all have such good friendships with each other, and I feel like that really shows in what they do in each scene. And just it's also nice to like see a cast that like genuinely enjoys being around each other and like loves each other, and it just, I feel like it adds to the whole story. Another line from Wylan is when he really didn't want Kaz to know Albie's name so that the child would be safe and not be like a part of Kaz's takedown of Pekka Rollins. And he says Albie Rollins can't help who his father is, which if you read the books, you know, that has kind of a double meaning. And I just really liked it because it's just like, that feels a little personal, Wylan. Like, what's going on there?
Sure does.
And then finally, another moment I really liked was just like Kaz has gotten everybody together, like all the crows together to like say the plan. And Jesper kind of goes on like this whole rant about like, here's what you're going to say. And he says all of these things that Kaz definitely wouldn't say. But one of the things that Jesper says is, but it's okay because brothers fight sometimes and stuff like that. And like gestures between him and Kaz when he says brothers. And in response to that, Kaz says yes to all of that. And I'm just like, I love that so much because if you look carefully, when Jesper like refers to them as brothers, like Kaz very, very subtly like almost falters a bit. Like he closes his eyes for a second and he kind of takes like a step, and it's very small, but you can tell like he feels that with Jesper, like that brotherly relationship with him. And I've always loved their relationship in the books because they have like that sort of connection to each other. And really Jesper is a lot like Geordie, and you kind of get more into that in Crooked Kingdom. And for Kaz to say but otherwise yes to all of that, I'm just like, I know what you're saying, you see it, but you're never gonna say it because that's not who you are. But I really love that moment because it was so small, but I was like, they're brothers.
They're brothers. He validated it.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have any quotes that you liked?
Yeah, I had quite a few as well. So when Kaz tells Inej, Pekka Rollins killed my brother, and then Inej, without any hesitation, says, then we destroy him.
Yeah, yep.
Like, that's love.
That's love.
And then when he's fighting, Kaz is fighting, it's like this great fight scene, and I can't remember who it is, but they're like, my leg! You know? Insert the SpongeBob sound. Yeah. And then Kaz goes, I recommend a cane, and then throws a knife at his leg. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Yeah. When they're getting ready to spread the fake disease and they're all putting on their costumes, and Wyland ends up with this mask, and he goes, it covers up my whole face. And Jesper goes, I kind of like your face.
I like your stupid face. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And then I think Pekka says to Kaz, I'll kill everything you love. And Kaz says, the trick is not to love anybody because he's an edgelord. And I respect that. So
if anyone's going to be an edgelord, it's going to be Kaz. And we'll allow it. So
For real. For real.
So, Amberlyn, what song would you associate, and do you associate, with Jesper and Wylan, since we're talking so much about them?
I'm going to say Mystery of Love by Sufjan Stevens. It's just like a lovely little song. Yes. So
I think I put that on my own Six of Crows playlist because of them.
It totally belongs there because of them. Yeah, I think I did the same.
Yeah.
It's like, How about you? You had a good one.
I said Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. Mainly because I've been in a big 70s era music-wise lately, but also because it's just such a good song. It's one of my favorites, and it's, if you listen to it, and like I won't say all the lyrics, like you probably already know it, or if you don't know, yeah, just go listen to it. But it's just them, and it's like a very sweet song to me in like the context of them. So I like it, and it just makes me happy. Yeah, it makes me feel like all like sunshine and warm and lovely, and I feel like that's what they are, especially with Jesper calling Wylan Van Sunshine in the books. Yeah.
Oh. I'm having a normal reaction to them. We're talking about the sunshine in our lives in terms of characters. Is there a character whose face you like?
Whose face I like? Yeah, actually. This person, I love their face so much, especially when his hair is in his face and he's covered in blood. And yes, I am talking about Freddy Carter as Kaz Brecker. Not just Kaz, but Freddy Carter, because I feel like he is doing so much justice to Kaz. And especially when he's like angry a lot this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, every time I look at him and I'm just like, oh, that's Kaz. Oh, that's Kaz. And like in his fight scenes, like, ugh, cover this man in blood. He looks great.
He's amazing. I feel like as like actor, Freddy Carter's gonna go like a really long way. I feel like he really embodies Kaz right out the gate, even being like a younger actor in the game.
Yeah, he does such a good job. And like I love it when you have people who can like embody these like really dark and like often traumatized characters and just have like this, they're not nice people, but then like you see interviews of them and they're just like
very
sunshine.
sweet. Yeah.
And that's how I feel like I said earlier, I've been watching a lot of interviews with them, and I feel like Freddy Carter is like just like he's just chilling and he's very funny and like witty and
Right.
but like not at all like Kaz, which makes it like to me even more impressive like how he is so much like Kaz, and like it just he gets the character.
He
and
gets it.
yeah, he gets it. How about you? What character whose face do you like?
I love Zoya's face. I love Zoya.
Yeah,
I love Zoya.
me too. Yeah, in your notes document, it's just a huge capital letters, Zoya!
I love Zoya. When we first saw her at the Grisha sanctuary, I was just like, oh, here she is. Like, she's here. Like, I love Zoya. I want Zoya to have her own spin-off show. I want Zoya to have everything. Like, truly.
Yeah.
Fiercely.
She's such an interesting character because she's one that in the trilogy you don't like, I don't know, just all she is like a mean girl for the most part. And then she starts to warm up a little bit, but you don't really think too much about her. But then the more you learn about Zoya in later books, she just quickly became someone where I'm just like, I just want to wrap her up and protect her and love her, and she's incredible.
Yeah.
And like, I enjoy her so much.
Me too.
So yeah.
Me as well.
What character would you not mind seeing get ripped in half by the Darkling's ZOYA?
Probably the Darkling himself. Is that an option?
Yeah, he's an option.
I feel like the answer every time we talk about this is obviously probably going to be like the Darkling or Pekka Rollins. Like they are the villains of this season. So, I mean, there you go. Yeah. That's it. I mean, I think if there are people that are on my shit list right now that aren't characters, I feel like I want to have a conversation with the Netflix executives. I said this last week, but I'll say it again. Like, I think we need to talk. I think I need to put some time on their callies, you know? So them as well.
They have like, oh, we got to schedule out a meeting with Emberlyn. She's got things to say.
And my opinion is that important. It's that reputable. But
yeah.
I think, and this is something I'll talk about in my peaks and valleys, but there are some changes creatively that I would have made that they didn't make, and the changes they made were not the changes I would have made. So I have beef with them, but other than that, I'm chilling. How about you?
I'm also chilling. I didn't really like, I mean, other than the obvious, like you said, I guess maybe Vasily, but...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. He was so unimportant to me.
He was... Exactly. Like, that's why I'm like, him, but, like, he dies anyway, and I'm like, no one really misses him. He was more of a presence in the book, specifically the second one, and he was really annoying because he kind of, like, screwed them all over, but he was here for, like, one episode, and he was kind of, like, gross and annoying towards Alina, and then he dies by the end of the episode anyway, so you're like...
I feel like I didn't have enough time to really hate him. Like, obviously I was like, you're icky, but I just didn't have time to, like, get into his character. So, Caitlin, we're gonna dive into our peaks and valleys now. I wish I didn't make any of those hand movements I just made. What is your first peak for this set of episodes?
As I already mentioned, Wesper. I love them. Jesper and Wylan, I almost said Wesper and Jylan. They are one person to me. They had so much these episodes, and I loved it so much. At first, like, I think I mentioned this in our review of episode 1 and 2, but at first I was like, I don't know, do I like that they put them together already? Or like, because like they had such a good slow burn in the books, and it was like it really paid off. Like by the time they kiss, it's like, oh, finally. So like I love those moments, but like the more I thought about it, I'm like, with all of the other ships happening and the other relationships happening in this show, it's kind of nice to have two characters be in a relationship where they're both happy to be here. There's no slow burn at all. They're not doomed by the narrative. They're just here. They're vibing and they're having a great time. Sometimes they'll hold hands and kiss and love each other, and it's just nice to have that. Like amidst like Kaz and Inej and Alina and Mel, or if you ship Alina and Nikolai, or Alina and the Darkling, like there's so like all the other or Genya and David, like everyone else is like, I want them to be together, but there's so many either like they shouldn't be or the story's not allowing them to be, and it's really stressful. But Jesper and Wylan are like, yeah, there's chaos around them, but they still get to be in love, and that's kind of like really representative of their like relationship because they love the chaos too. And so it's just nice to like when it gets to them, it's just like, I'm safe. Yeah. Everything's nice and lovely.
Right. I agree with that. I also feel like it's just nice like that this is happening so early. Like the one perspective I have on this is like, okay, like sometimes like there are a lot of really good queer slow burns, but like it's just nice to have the security that a queer relationship is happening early on. I don't know why, but it's just like, yeah, this is happening. Like, yeah, you don't have to wait, you don't have to find out, you don't have to wonder if you're being queer baited. This is happening, you know, which you would know.
And even in like the first couple episodes, like they're already like, they've already been together at one point. So.
Right, which you would know from the books if you were or not being queer baited. But like, still, I think if you're watching the show for the first time, it's nice to be like, oh, yeah, you know, and not have to like wait and have like a will they won't they, is this gay moment, which is like, you know, like it's out.
The moment that they share when they're like fixing the piano and then Wylan like plays it, and the way Jesper watches him, that is love. That is how you look at someone you love. And it was just so soft and so sweet, and I'm happy that they're happy.
And then for like the opposite of that, when Jesper quickly repairs the piano and then Wylan is like surprised because he's like, you didn't have any materials to do that. Like they both surprised each other in that moment with the piano, and I think that's so like cute. A really great moment. Like a really great moment.
I agree.
Wow. It's like, I feel like in some shows and books, like there's always like an object that becomes like a symbol of a person's like affection with the other person. And I think there are probably other ones in Six of Crows, but like I'm thinking specifically of like Mary E. Pearson's Dance of Thieves and the orange. Or like the black the red silk and the black cravat in Our Flag Means Death. So I feel like the piano could become one of those for them, and I kind of love that a lot.
Oh, I love that too. I love it when things just take meaning.
Yeah.
It's great.
I do too.
What was your first peak?
I think I liked a lot that they've really humanized Genya's time with the Darkling. Like, she's way less complicit looking in the show than she is in the book. Like, in the book, I remember just being like, what are you doing? Like, how is it so easy? They made her incredibly vain. It was like, there's this, like, how is it so easy for you to stay with him? And it's because it allows you to maintain your status and your beauty. And it's just like, I mean, I don't hate that. I like when a character is complicated in the book, but I also didn't mind that in this retelling in the Netflix series. She was kind of humanized more, and you could see that she was real. You could really see, if you're like me and you have no media literacy, that she's a victim just like everybody else, who is under the Darkling's power. So that was great for me. Like, I really liked that. That's it. Yeah. I just like that a lot. And I also feel like I just love her character in this series a lot.
Yeah, it was nice to get the insight to like her side of things, like before she gets attacked by the ZOYA. Yeah. And then also just like, you can just like what you're saying, that like, you can tell like she's really doesn't want, like, I think we talked about it last episode.
She's just horrified.
she's constantly has tears in her eyes.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, she has to go along with it because she doesn't want to be like killed, basically. And I love that her immediate thing is like, she loves David so much she wants him to get out of there.
Yeah.
But he loves her so much that he's not going to let her be alone, and he goes along, and like they're kind of working together and doing that. So yeah, big fan.
Yeah. Wow. What was your second peak?
I really loved what they're doing with Kaz as far as like his characterization, because I feel like last season he was a little bit too soft for me, and I don't even want to give the excuse of like, well, would you like him if you didn't read the books? It's just like, you don't have to like everybody at one point. Like, he can be like an interesting character who's just, you know, kind of a dick all the time. And like, that's how he is in the books, where you're just like, what is this guy's problem? you know?
Right.
And then you get to know him, and then you get to maybe like him more. But I just felt like he was too soft in the first season. I mean, he had his moments where he was just, you're just like, this guy.
Yeah, but it was also just like tooling around a lot.
Yeah, like we got a couple really good fight scenes in these episodes, and it was just nice to see that, because he does have that like violent, rough side. Right. And I love seeing a character be unhinged, and Kaz does it really well, and Freddy Carter as Kaz does it really well. Right. So, like, his fight scene with the dregs, where he throws a chair with his cane, incredible. And, like, just, like, everything you were saying before with, like, I recommend a cane, and then he throws a knife, and then just, again, the way, like, he just looks like a mess, but he is so terrifying looking, and it's just, it's good stuff. And just the way when he's talking to Wylan and he says like, I found a solution to all of this, and Wylan's like, what is it? And he looks up and he's got like his hair's in his face, he's got blood all over him, and he goes, suffering. I'm just like, hi. I want that tattooed on the back of my eyelids. Thank you very much. I think Freddy Carter is killing it, and I love that they're kind of tapping into this side of Kaz, because we know he's capable of much more. And it's nice to finally see that.
That was my second peak as well. Just like being able to watch that fight scene. It was just such a cool fight scene. Like, we talked a little bit last week about how like, some of the slow motion movements in the fight scenes, and how like there were times when it was kind of cheesy, but I think it really works here with his character, because you can really see how he moves as a disabled person through the world, fighting back against these like really horrible bad people. I really enjoyed that. I remember like there were times when my eyes kind of glazed over during the shadow and bone parts, but then when that scene came up, I was like really glued to my screen, because I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, it's a really cool scene. Like, it's a cool fight scene. It's very HQ. It's very high quality. I think it just goes to show that Netflix really does have the guts to make good television. Yeah. So my Outlook calendar is open. I'll be waiting for my Zoom link. So we're already diving into negative territory, which is why I love to be, because I'm a hater first. What was your valley for this pair of episodes, Caitlin?
There is so much Crooked Kingdom plot. It scares me.
Me too.
Like, so much. I'm gonna let the Kaz tending to Inej's wound slide, because it felt more like a prequel to the bathroom scene that happens in Crooked Kingdom, and I
fucking hope so.
I really hope so. It wasn't the scene at all. In the books, I mean, spoilers if you haven't read it somehow, but like in the books, like his gloves are off and she's much more wounded, and he has to like touch her and rub it. It's like, it's way more like detailed and way more intimate than this, but this felt more like if we ever get that scene, like you can compare it to like, oh, look how like where this happened here first, and look where they came now. So I'm okay with it, because it wasn't exactly the scene. I think the only thing that was truly taken from that was their conversation about having a tell, and but I'm okay. It's okay. I'll allow it. However, when
The Nile is a river in Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah. But when I did first watch it, I was like, hey, wait, stop. What are we doing? What's going on? But episode 4 is where the show started losing me. Not because I was going to stop watching it, but because it was no longer, I'm having fun. It was more of like a, oh no, I'm watching in fear of how you're going to screw up my favorite books. You know, like, I know it's not a direct adaptation. And I know I'm probably eating my words, I've said in our Six of Crows review and probably our past other Shadow and Bone reviews. But to take some of the huge plot points from Crooked Kingdom and put them in episode 4 of season 2 of Shadow and Bone, I was like, it doesn't work for me. Because, like, I love the scene with Kaz confronting Pekka. I thought it was incredibly acted. I thought it was super well done. I was like, I had like a war going on with myself because one side of me was like, this is so cool. Oh my God. This is like, Kaz is like killing it. Incredible. But then the other part of me was like, why are we here? What are we doing? Why is this happening already? Because like so much needs to happen first. And I just feel like it doesn't have the same impact as it did in the, like, it happens at the end of Crooked Kingdom for a reason. And I feel like having the multiple flashbacks to what happened to Kaz and his brother isn't enough for you to be excited about Kaz taking Pekka Rollins down like this. And also for Pekka to be taken down so quickly and so easily, because he was such a presence in the books, because in Six of Crows, he's not there all the time. He is more there through flashback, and you know who he is, and then you do meet him like about halfway through and then at the end. But then he's such a huge presence in Crooked Kingdom, and it's such a big deal because you know what he did to Kaz and the length and the extent of it. So when you finally get to that point where Kaz has done so much, like he's gone through the whole ice court heist, he's gone through like almost losing Inej twice, and like just all of these things building up to his confrontation with Pekka, and for him to be like, I want you to remember his name, and the whole thing where he makes Pekka think that his son is dead or about to die. Like it was so huge. It was such a big deal because so much happened before it, and there was so much at stake, and it didn't work for me. I was just like, no, no, this is too early. Like I don't know. I wonder if people who didn't read the books, and if you haven't read the books, I would love to know your thoughts. So comment or do anything so where I can read this. Did Kaz's confrontation with Pekka have, like, did it make sense? Do you understand what exactly happened with him and Jordy? Like, do you know what Pekka did to them besides steal their money? You know, like, I just wonder if it read as well as it clearly did in the book. And I just, I don't know. And then I feel like so much is happening to where, like, if they do eventually, if we do get to see the ice court heist, like, what stakes do they have to do it, you know? Because, like, now Inej is free, which is great, but that was mostly the reason why she did the ice court heist, was so that she could get the money to pay off her indenture and not do that. And then with Kaz, it was like he could get the money, but then also like he could be the one to do this and not Pekka. And it was just, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of meaning is being taken from some of the Six of Crows plot and being used just to be like, well, the fans will love to see this. It's like, yeah, I love seeing it in the context that it should be seen in. So I don't know. As cool as they were to see, I'm not very happy that it happened already. And I was thinking about this today when I was rewatching it. When Kaz fighting the dregs, again, great, cool scene. But so he's not even part of the dregs at this moment. And he's overtaking their gang, and he's like, you're with me now. And I'm like, wait. That was like a whole huge thing at the end of Crooked Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. They started losing me. So.
Yeah.
Can I be a part of that meeting you have with Netflix? Because
Yeah.
my calendar's also
Yeah.
open. Send me the invite.
Well, I guess my question, because I actually stopped watching after episode 4. I have to go back and watch them in preparation for our next couple of reviews.
Mhm.
But I'm curious, like, does Pekka Rollins play any larger role, like, throughout the remainder of the season?
He does.
Okay.
Which, that's why I was like, okay, so that's where he's coming in. And I could see how they could eventually do something. I don't know. But it didn't, I'm not happy.
I get you. I'm not, I don't know if I'm that happy either. My valet is kind of like the same. I guess overall, I think I would have enjoyed a more direct adaptation of the novels. Or should I say, so far, I think the books take the cake for me.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned to me that it seems like maybe they are trying to fit a lot of that storyline in because they're afraid of Netflix chopping them.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to get as much of that plot in as possible before that happens.
Then just...
And if that is the intention, it's not like a well executed idea because like it doesn't work. Like everything you just described, it doesn't, like the Crooked Kingdom storyline doesn't work as the next sequence of events after everything that happened last season. And I agree with you that like there's no, like, as somebody who doesn't really remember Crooked Kingdom at the time that we're talking about this, I feel like it didn't, like the whole scene with Kaz and Pekka didn't really have any weight for me. And I kind of was like, okay, like, you know, like I feel like in those flashback sequences, which, sidebar, I think maybe could be less corny.
Thank you.
I feel like we haven't even connected the dots yet that Jordy has died like from this virus on account of Pekka's cruelty. Like I feel like I agree. I feel like exactly what you're asking. Did it read?
Yeah.
My response, just as a hater, is no, it kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I didn't get that. And then when we got to that scene, I was like, wow, you're such a badass, Kaz. But then I was like, wait a minute. This all hasn't happened yet. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, if I didn't want to jump right into the Six of Crows ice court heist yet, if I didn't want to do that, I would write original content for the Crows this season, since it seems like the focus is really the Shadow and Bone plot, you know?
Yeah, and it just, to me, it seems like the writers clearly want to write a Six of Crows spinoff, and it seems like that's what they've wanted to do from the beginning, and for whatever reason, they did Shadow and Bone, and they decided to do both of them, where I'm just like, if this is what you wanted to write to start with, why not? And I'm sure there were like reasons why they couldn't. Right. But like, what were those reasons?
It's just easier.
And
I feel like it's way easier to adapt just Six of Crows and provide some lead-in from the Shadow and Bone universe for Grisha than to like go batshit insane and try to do too much, try to have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right, again, too many cooks. We've been saying that a lot lately. But
yeah, and it's true all the time now.
All the time. Again, if you haven't watched it, go watch the Too Many Cooks Adult Swim sketch. It's brilliant. And we reference it all the time because there are truly too many cooks in the kitchen. If you're not going to start with Six of Crows because you feel like you need to explain like what Grisha are, fine, I get it, whatever. But people read these books without reading the Grisha trilogy. We could figure it out.
Yeah.
Trust your audience to be smart enough to figure these things out. Because my aunt also watches this show, and so does my uncle. My aunt read the books, my uncle did not. And she said there were so many things she had to explain to him this season. Because she's like, do you know why he's going after this guy? Do you know what happened to him and his brother? And he's like, no, I don't.
Yeah. And it's not clear.
Yeah. Unclear. And it really...
It's not made clear, even with the flashbacks.
Because what makes me mad about the flashbacks is, like, and I, from the get-go, like, I was like, oh, we're already doing his backstory. But then the way they just kept cutting back to it, it didn't feel right to me. And it felt, like you said, kind of corny. Because it's
corny.
like a cheap trick to be like, oh, now we're telling you this side of the story.
And to have like the white.
Oh, that made me so mad. The filter around, like, yes, I know this is a flashback. I don't need the little dreamy like thing. I hated that.
I wonder if this is a flashback.
I wonder if this is now or if this happened like.
There's so many cinematographic. There are so many like very, I think, tasteful ways you could have done that. That would have been like cinematically pleasing.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if they just devoted like part of an episode. These episodes are like an hour long each. If they could have just taken the time to devote an episode to tell the story like as a whole. And I feel like it would have been so much easier to understand, because instead you're going flashbacks to like him and his brother holding hands, to Kaz seeing a magic trick for the first time, to his brother making a deal with Pekka, and Kaz is watching Saskia do a little magic trick, and then all of a sudden
I don't think you get enough.
But like it goes back and forth like a few different times, and they use like the same clips a few times too, where it's just like, what's the order? And do you understand? What makes me mad is I don't think people are understanding why Kaz wears the gloves. And that's such a huge thing, and I don't think you get that at all. I've seen the whole season at this point, and like I'll talk about it more when we get to another episode, but I don't think you get that at all, and it makes me mad.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot going on in terms of the sequencing now, too, because now, and it would have been one thing to go back and forth between the Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows storyline, but now you've got Shadow and Bone, Genya and David with the Darkling, you've got, the Six of Crows storyline, and you've got these flashbacks that Kaz is happening. That's like a lot to all be focusing on in like one episode each week. That's a lot. Like, I agree with you. I feel like if they had done an episode with like a younger Kaz and like a Jordy, and they just had that be the plot of the episode.
Yeah. Great.
Like, it would have been great.
I don't even think you could be mad like, oh, why are we talking about them? I feel like a lot of people would be like, yeah, no, I want to know what his whole deal is, because you don't know. Yeah. And I don't think you still know, you know?
Right. So in terms of continuity, it's kind of a bust for me. And then I want to come back. So from the Shadow Bone side of things, I kind of want to come back to my Valley from last week, because I hope my criticism makes significantly more sense. I wish more than anything. So last week I said that I really didn't appreciate Sturmhand's introduction, which we now know is Nikolai's introduction. I didn't like that at all. Like, I wish more than anything that they disguised Nikolai in some way that makes his likeness completely unexpected. Yeah. It's giving Perry the Platypus. Like, at the part where he's like, he takes off his pirate suit and he's wearing his like rocket uniform underneath for some reason, and then they're like, Perry the Platypus, you know, it's like if you take a fedora off. It's like, how did you not know it was him?
It's like in Marvel movies when they gotta disguise themselves, so they put on a hat and sunglasses, and they're like, no one knows who we are.
Literally.
It's like,
literally, no. It was so insane. Yeah. And like, this was the thing of all of the things this season that I was probably the most excited for, and I kept talking to you about, Caitlin. I was like, how are they gonna do that? How are they gonna make him look different? Like, that's a really cool scene and a phenomenal opportunity, like, to do some really great, like, makeup.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that at all, and it made me sad. Like, really sad. And, like, also, his actual introduction, like, at the very beginning, the way he's in the room, and he turns out to be the person that sought out Alina and paid the crows to do this work. That also bothered me, because I just felt like that's not how I want to see him for the first time.
Yeah.
That's not how I want to see Nikolai's face for the first time. I want to see him when he pulls off like a nose, like a prosthetic nose, and like, guess what? He's the Prince of Ravka. Yep. You know? Mm-hmm. So for him to just be like there and just like, yeah, and he's just wearing a hat, like playing the platypus, in like a nice green ring, I'm like, what is he doing here? Go! Leave! Like, why did he have to be the one that found them? Like, he didn't have to be. He could have just been the guy from last season. Like, I don't, you know, like, it seems like that was never the intention to begin with. Yeah. So, I was like,
I'm okay with him being the guy who paid to get Alina. Like, I'm okay with that, but I don't think I agree with you. Like, I don't like that that's how we first saw him in that scene.
It's annoying. It's like, this is not how I want to know who this is, you know? I understand that it seems like the only thing they pulled from the bathroom scene is that dialogue. Mm-hmm. But my question then is like, why do it at all? Because now I don't know. I don't know if you're going to actually ever do the bathroom scene because you've done this now. And so when this is all happening, and I also just, like, I wish that they hadn't had that closeness yet, even if it's not the bathroom scene. Like, no! You know? So that just, like, when that happened, I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, I lost all trust in the creators of the show. I was like, this is not necessary. I don't know what you're trying to give us, but there are other things you could have given us. Because like, this is just...
What bothers me the most about it is the erasure of Inej's trauma. It's like, we're not getting... Like, she's not a fan of touch either, you know? But, like, it almost feels like it's like, she's cool to be close, but he's not yet, but you don't know why. But it's like, that was their struggles. Like, they both are touch-averse for two very different and very dramatic reasons. And it just feels like they didn't do anything with that last season. And, like, I don't know. I worry.
I also feel like I see the intention to set up something larger, like a Six of Crows spinoff, but I don't think this is the way to do it. Like, if you're trying to reserve some of your major plot lines for a Six of Crows spinoff, this is not the way. Because I feel like you could potentially, like, destroy the integrity of the whole show by doing this, and potentially make it so that you don't end up with a spinoff period, which I hope happens. But I feel like the fact that we have to go through this to get to that point, like, if that's the case, that's a waste of money and time. Thank you, you know? And I feel bad saying this, and this is, I guess, the point, is, like, I think a Six of Crows spinoff would be great. But at this point, and I feel so bad saying this, and this is why I say waste of money and time, but the Shadow and Bone storyline is boring the fuck out of me. And I mean that with love, but I don't know if it's because I already know what's going to happen, or if it's because it generally just doesn't interest me nearly as much as the Six of Crows storyline. But whenever it was on television, whenever we'd switch back to them, I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I feel the same way.
I am so astronomically indifferent. Like, I feel like this wasn't the story to tell in this universe, and it just doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
And I also just feel like it's to the point where I'm getting bored even when I'm watching the Six of Crows scenes, because they feel like they're not the priority in this show. So it's like super irritating to me. I think in an attempt to differentiate the series from the book, that the writers unfortunately made everything slightly more predictable, but in a way that's, like, not sequenced properly. And I don't know if I'm disappointed. Like, I'm not surprised because this is Netflix, but I definitely feel like I'm a little cynical about the world we live in, where it's so easy for people to pick up other people's creative property and just kind of, like...
Yeah.
Like, don't! Don't! So, all right, cool down a little bit.
I feel the same way, though, because I feel like it's like they're just using this to get their spinoff that they want. And at this point, do I want you to be writing a spinoff if this is what you're doing already? Like, I don't know. Do I trust you to do a spinoff?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it if you get your spinoff, are you going to do it correctly? I don't know, because I can't trust you anymore. And
I can't trust you.
It just, like, you know, there's, like, a full push. Like, I've seen a lot online. It's like, you know, the first 28 days are so critical. Like, if you want more, if you want your possible spinoff, then you got to keep watching. I'm like, it shouldn't depend on... It shouldn't be like this. Just...
I'm sure that the writers have no power over what Netflix decides goes on air, because it seems like the writers really wanted to write this story. Yeah, you know, the Six of Crows story. But I completely agree with you. Like, okay,
then just do it.
So just do it. Yeah, do it in your backyard. What's wrong with you guys? Kickstarter.
I mean, you have the actors now. You can just do it.
Yeah. It's not like Netflix is doing anything for you in terms of special effects. Like, be fucking for real. Yeah. So, we have our tier list for this week, Caitlin. Do you want to tell us what tiers we have?
Yeah, so our tiers for Shadow and Bone are at the tippy top. We have Wee! Right underneath that, we have Nice! Like Taylor Swift, like, nice. Then in the middle, like for neutral, we have I'm just here for a good time. The second from the bottom is, I guess. And then at the very bottom, we have, right, what's all this then? Because what is all this
I
then?
love that. What is all this then? So I kind of think you have an idea of where I'm going. Yeah. I'm gonna say I'm kind of somewhere in between, I guess, and right, what's all this then?
Yeah.
Because I'm like a little bit irritated about all this.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. I'm gonna put myself so it's not difficult for us to like put these in the actual categories. Yeah. I'm gonna say, I guess.
Yeah. I'm the exact same way because I am kind of in between, I guess, and right, what's all this then? But watching these 2 episodes, I was just like, I guess. Like, I guess that's what you're gonna do. I guess we're in Crooked Kingdom now. Like,
we're here now.
Even the whole fake plague plot they used, and I'm just like,
oh my god, I forgot about that. That really pissed me off.
Like, that was that really made it. I think that made me more mad than the Kaz and Pekka scene because I'm just like,
that is a cinematically beautiful scene in the book.
Yeah, and it's such a big deal because like one of my favorite parts is when Kaz looks at Inej and says, "I told them to hit the menagerie too," and she just like smiles and she's got I don't know. They're just, like, at this point, if they do get their Six of Crows spin-off, then what? You know?
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
Much. Yeah.
And how do you set all this up now that you've done this? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Meh. Okay.
I guess. So yeah, that's where I'm at for these 2 episodes as well.
So we ended in a storm of rage, justifiably.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Sometimes you gotta be critical of the media you consume.
Female rage is essential to society.
It really is.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If we weren't allowed to, have a little hater moment, then what then? So thank you for listening to Live by Moonlight. Mm-hmm. Tune in next time when we review episodes 5 and 6 of Shadow and Bone. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll be in better moods then, but probably not.
No comment. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.